Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you so much for joining us today for our W.P. Carey School of Business Specialized Masters Open House. This is a virtual event. We're excited that you all are joining us here on Zoom. We are going to go ahead and get going with our presentation for today. A few housekeeping items to get out of the way before we get started. All participants have been muted upon entry to reduce background noise. We appreciate you continuing to keep the mute on so we're able to have a presentation free of background noise for this. We want to make sure everyone can hear us though and see our presentation. If you are experiencing any difficulty hearing us, please go ahead and use the chat feature that Zoom offers and send us a message. We'll see if we can help you out. During the presentation, we may have the opportunity for Q&A, but we will specifically have opportunity for question and answer at the end of our presentation today. You may use that chat feature again to type us any questions and we will address them at the end. Thank you. For our agenda today, we have two parts. The first half of the webinar today will include a welcome and a program overview. The second half of our presentation today, we will be joined by an ambassador panel and also by our career and employee engagement team to highlight all resources that career team offers for our current students. As I mentioned, it's really exciting to be connected with everyone via Zoom today for this virtual open house. I've been really impressed with how quickly everyone has adapted to life online and using Zoom. As we continue to work through all the challenges presented by COVID-19, I am so proud to be a part of a university like ASU, who continue to put the student first and stay ahead of the pack through innovation. So in spite of how uncertain things may feel now really is the perfect time to start planning for your future. And all of us here at W.P. Carey School of Business are here to help. We're excited to help you find the right program for you. No matter what your career plans are, a master's degree in business can make a huge difference. And a master's degree from a top-ranked business school will position you to stand out in a crowded job market. A little over a month ago, the U.S. News and World Report released rankings for its 2021 graduate school programs. The W.P. Carey School of Business ranks top 25 for 30 distinct fields of studies. We are ranked number 11 in business analytics, number 13 for information systems, and number 6 for online graduate programs, just to name a few. These rankings really do reflect our commitment to offering a world-class education that delivers in-demand skills for students for all walks of life pursuing a wide degree range of careers. The Bureau of Labor Statistics consistently reports individuals with graduate degrees make more upon graduation and have a better long-term earning potential than those with a bachelor's degree alone. It is clear, as we look at an unpredictable world ahead, this is the best time to earn a graduate degree. And for many of you, that means extending your time at ASU for just one more year. Not only are our master's degrees designed with cutting-edge curriculum and taught by world-class faculty, they are also designed to be completed in 1 year or less, accelerating your path into your career. And if that's not return on investment, I don't know what is. For those of you who are here in the Valley, who are here in Tempe or Arizona, or have seen anything about us online, you have probably seen or read that we are #1 in innovation. We are proud of this. It's the 5th year in a row. W.P. Carey has had a long reputation of offering cutting-edge and relevant programs. As mentioned, ASU has been the #1 school for innovation for 5 years running, and we continue to demonstrate our ability to adapt and pivot to suit the needs of students and the demands of the economy. In times where other programs and schools are reacting to this environment where they have no experience, we have over 2 decades of successful online platform execution under our belt. With the global pandemic, we'll need strong leaders and subject matter experts to step into the workforce. Let WP Carey help you make the next step with a graduate degree. I'm excited now to turn to our experts and review our portfolio of specialized master's programs we offer. Today, I'd like to introduce your presenters. Shalise Nakayu works with our MSBA program. Amy O'Reilly works with our Masters of Accountancy, Masters of Taxation, and Masters of Global Logistics and Masters of Finance program. Jordan Sparks works with our Master of Science with Business Analytics, as Shalise. And Matt Gagan works with our Masters of Science for Information Systems program. I'm going to turn it over to our team to get started.
All right, so I'll be speaking to you today about the Masters of Science in Accountancy and the Accountancy Data and Analytics programs. These programs are very popular among our students, especially those from an accounting background, as these do prepare you for a career in accountancy. There are 2 tracks for this. The Masters of Accountancy is a 9-month program, and the Accountancy with a Data and Analytics track is a 11-month program that focuses on an additional emphasis on technology and methods used in data-centric audits and financial accounting. So both of them use heavily case study methods. You'll do a lot of hands-on projects. The Mac DNA program actually has a partnership with KPMG as well, so you get some extra exposure to that industry. Both of these programs will fulfill the requirements for the CPA exam in Arizona and California. And these programs are a bit unique in that they do have specific prerequisite courses. So if you are interested in these, please do reach out to our team to learn about those prerequisites and those requirements. And next, I'll move on to the taxation program. The Master of Science in Taxation is kind of a partner program or a neighbor of the accountancy programs. This has a lot of the same prerequisite requirements as the accountancy program, but 7 of the 10 courses in this program are tax-driven. This is a much smaller boutique class size. It is hyper-focused on taxation and would also prepare you for the CPA certification. This is actually one of our most requested resumes from our Career Center. Before the end of the fall 2019 semester, 100% of the current cohort had already accepted a job offer. So there are some prereqs, as I mentioned. It's a very niche, hyper-focused area with a lot of hands-on application, and it's very unique in our suite of programs. And we'll move on to the next program.
The MSBA program is a 9-month cohort-based program, and it is on the Tempe campus. Classes are typically during the daytime, and the program is 30 credits. For international students, the program is STEM designated, which would allow you to take advantage of becoming eligible for up to 36 months of OPT time when you complete the program. This is a team-centered program. We understand the importance of collaboration and teamwork in the work environment, and we require students to complete an applied project where they will work with a real corporation, utilizing real data and real problems. Overall, this program prepares you to pursue business and data analyst roles and with experienced data science positions. Next, Matt is going to share some more information about the MS in Information Systems Management program.
The Masters of Science in Information Systems Management, or the MS-ISM program, is focused on bridging the gap between the technical side of IT and the business. The MS-ISM program is a 12-month program and is considered full-time, running from August to July. Classes are held Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evenings from 6 to 10 p.m. It allows you to focus on one of 3 specializations within this program: tech consulting, data analytics, and cloud computing. The program also prepares you for more of a technical lead role within your company, like a senior data analyst or a CIO down the line as well.
Our Masters of Real Estate Development program is a transdisciplinary partnership between 4 highly regarded schools at Arizona State University. This includes the W.P. Carey School of Business, the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law, the Herberger's Institute for Design and the Arts, and the Del E. Webb School of Construction. Some of the different reasons that students choose this program is the caliber of the faculty, as they are all practicing professionals in their field and have the most up-to-date information regarding working in commercial real estate. Also networking, this program facilitates a local, national, and global network with students and other professionals. And during the program, students will complete 3 synthesis projects that reflect real-world problems and solutions over the entire spectrum of development, including residential, income-producing, and high-density mixed-use and public-private partnership. This is a 9-month program on campus. And now we will turn it over to Amy to learn more about our Master of Science in Finance program.
Thanks, Shalise. So the Master of Science in Finance is a very traditional finance program. We do incorporate a lot of analytics as well into this course. It is 32 credits, 9 months long during the day. This covers topics like corporate finance, risk management and consulting, financial planning, and so on. This would help you prepare for the CFA certification exam. So the course material would parallel a lot of things that would be covered in that exam as well. Outcomes for this program, typically our students do go into corporate finance or financial advising or in a financial analyst role as well. It is also STEM designated, which would allow for the STEM OPT extension. And moving on, we'll go to one of our newest programs with Shalise.
Thanks, Amy. So this program is the Master of Science in Innovation and Venture Development. This is also a transdisciplinary partnership between 3 leading schools at Arizona State University. These include the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, the W.P. Carey School of Business, and the Herberger Institute for the Design and the Arts. This program can be completed in 12 months full-time. Classes are on Tuesday and Thursday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And what kind of student might be a good fit for this? Well, we are looking for ambitious, bold, and creative thinkers with an insatiable desire to start something that makes a difference in the world. In this program, students learn by doing. They create, develop, and defend their ventures supported by the resources and academic rigor of ASU. Work will be honed, tested, and challenged by like-minded peers, mentors, and successful venture capitalists and leaders helping to refine the learning and execution. If you do have any questions about this program, definitely let us know. Now, Amy is going to share more about our Master of Science in Global Logistics program.
The Master of Science in Global Logistics program is the only program that we offer that is located on the West Campus of ASU. And this is a strategic move because that is where a very large amount of the logistics companies and storehouses and warehouses are based in the Phoenix Valley. So this program is STEM designated in 9 months. It is held within our supply chain department, which is the top 3 supply chain department in the country. This focuses on the logistics of business and how items move from point A to point B. So it is highly selected with supply chain, but focusing more on that logistical element with the international perspective as well. There is a very large applied project at the end of this where you would work with real companies as well. There are also some trips, one of which is to the Port of LA, and also some local logistics companies to get some hands-on experience with those companies and those roles, both public and private. This is a very cross-cultural program with a very high global perspective as well. And finally, we'll move on to the Master's in Management program.
So we are so excited to announce that we are relaunching our Master's in Management program. This is going to be a 9-month program and it will most likely be offered on campus. It's open to non-business majors who are looking to get a core business foundation, possibly to maybe run their own business someday or start up something like that. It offers a toolkit of transferable skills, and some of the things that are most likely going to be covered will be accounting, statistics, finance, marketing, and operations, as well as leadership, communication, project management, really the gamut of those, core business skills that students are really looking for, especially those that may not have that business, undergraduate degree or background, but may want to start a successful business.
Thank you, Amy, Jordan, Matt, and Shalise for giving us an overview of all of our programs here that we offer in the Specialized Master's portfolio. We have a few minutes before we are going to get started on our career presentation. So I'd like to open this up to any questions that you might have pertaining to the program overview that we just discussed. Please go ahead and use that chat feature if you do have a question. All right, it looks like we have a question here about our applied project for the Master of Science in Business Analytics. Shalise, would you like to share a little bit more about the applied project?
Sure, Kelly, I'd be happy to. So the applied project, I think, is a really unique opportunity for our business analytics students. We get a lot of questions about internships, but the applied project is specifically designed by our faculty to give you the range of skills and practice needed from what you've learned in the program. So it runs during the second half of the program, or also the second semester, that's January until May. And these projects are carefully vetted by our faculty. They include real data from real companies that have a real problem that they need help with. They're, again, carefully vetted to make sure that you will get to experience, the range of things that you have learned and gained in the program and really get that hands-on application. So during that project, you will work with a team as well as a faculty member and a representative from that company on the project, trying to pull the data, analyze the data, search for a resolution to a problem or some kind of findings. And then typically at the end, you are able to present that to leadership and in many cases, C-suite executives. So you really get some good networking opportunities and connection with a local company, and again, get to practice those hands-on skills.
Thank you, Shalise. It looks like we have another question about any upcoming deadlines. Amy, would you be able to share a little bit more about if there is still time to apply?
Sure. So we are in the final round of admissions for this upcoming fall 2020 term. That means that we are reviewing applicants on a rolling basis, and we would be able to review your file once submitted as soon as possible, typically within 2 to 3 weeks at this time of year. I would highly encourage you to submit your application and materials as quickly as possible and to work with one of us, your specialists, to help you along the way should you have any specific questions on that process. But we have recently, just due to the current situation, extended our deadline a bit. So you do have a bit of time to get things together and submit them. We'd be happy to work with you one-on-one as well. So just reach out to us and we're happy to assist. There is definitely still time to apply for fall 2020.
Thanks, Amy. Looks like we have a question here about what kind of background is required for any of these programs. Is a business background required? Shalise, can you answer this one?
Sure, Kylie, I would be happy to. So all of our programs are designed to be self-contained in the sense that you do not need a specific degree or business background, with the exception of our accountancy programs. Those do have a few prerequisite courses. If that is what you're interested in, is accountancy, we can definitely help you figure out how to get those courses. But really, we understand that the business of language is, or the language of business, excuse me, is needed in every industry, in every role, in every job. So even if that's not your background or your undergraduate degree, our programs are open to you. We would be happy to speak with you one-on-one about how to best prepare, how to leverage your skills and unique qualities as part of the application process, and really how a business can help you, especially during this time, to be more competitive in the workforce.
All right, it looks like we have a question here about what programs and languages will be utilized most in the MSBA program. Shalise, would you mind answering this one?
Sure, great question. So primarily in the program, Python is covered, although also some SQL, a touch on Hadoop, a few different languages. A lot of what is taught in the program is basics of, programming and languages, but then also how that knowledge can be translated learning other computer languages and the similarities between them. So you'll definitely gain those technical skills. There's some Python workshop and SQL, 2 data classes, learn a lot about how to analyze the data, but then you'll also still get those hands-on skills about critical thinking, how to apply, the tools that you've learned in a life situation, and how to communicate those results. But yes, there is a Python workshop. You don't need to know programming in advance. If you do know any programming, great, that will definitely help you. But again, something that we cover in the link.
Awesome, thank you, Shalise. We've got a couple questions here about programs being offered online, which of our programs are offered online. We do offer the MSBA, Master of Science in Business Analytics program in a completely online format. So that is one of the options. However, other programs are offered here in person. Classes are Monday through Thursday typically, and daytime classes, not evening classes. Looks like we also have a question here about requesting a little bit more information about our Master's in Management program and who can they reach out to. We will get our contact information up at the end of the slide and you can reach out to us then. Any of us can help you answer any questions like that. And then finally, it looks like we have another question about references needed for the application. Each of our applications has an online portion that consists of submitting things like your resume and an essay. Each program has a little bit different requirement for letter of recommendation and essay responses. So feel free to reach out to us if you have a specific question about the program and we can get you set up on exactly what's required. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. I am really excited to transition over to our career management and employer engagement team. Today we have a couple members of our team joining us today. We're excited. Each of them have a little bit different role within the program. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to this team and allow them to introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is April Patton. I am the Associate Director of Specialized Masters Career Management. I will be sharing some information with you today, but before I do so, I want to just take a moment to introduce some colleagues. So with me today, I have Rick White, who works with our MSBA students. And I also have Kashonda Jones, who works with our Masters of Science in Finance, Masters of Science in Information Systems Management, and also our Masters of Real Estate Development students. So if either of you want to unmute and just say hi.
Hello, everyone. This is Kashonda Jones.
Hey, everyone. This is Rick White.
All right, perfect. So we really are excited to be a part of this event. We definitely love meeting and speaking with incoming students or students who are interested in learning more. about the programs. I know that deciding to do a graduate program is a big decision, and there are a lot of different factors and reasons that you might choose to do one. And I know that a big portion of that tends to be around career outcomes and what you might see from a career perspective if you were to elect for a program. So I'm very excited to share that information with you today. So if we want to go to the next slide, we are going to be talking about how your graduate degree can help you advance your career. So next slide. We like to talk about the fact that if you choose to do your graduate program at a business school, you're going to be earning 3 things. So the first is a community of like-minded classmates. The admissions team and recruiting team does a great job of selecting really talented students to come into the program that will provide a lot of value to you as you interact and network with them. You also are going to have the opportunity for a great deal of personal growth and development. And you're going to have this opportunity both through your academics and the skills and the knowledge that you're going to gain throughout the program, but also in the interactions that you have with your classmates. And the third thing that you earn in business school is a career. And I think it's really important to understand that that's an instrumental part of it. And I think that's one of the reasons why we were invited to present to you today. So I'm going to dig into this third part and aspect during my portion of the presentation today. So next slide. All right, so I think it's really important to take a moment to pause and think about what business we're in when it comes to the career management team. We are in the business of talent. And so what we like to say is that we have a lot of different stakeholders. Of course, the students that we work with, which if you choose to pursue one of our programs, you will be one of our stakeholders, but we also work with a great community of employers, the community, education. And so our purpose is really to cultivate and help build that talent within the students in our programs. And we do that through our market awareness and access to information and expertise through our coaching team, as well as through really strategic and intentional program design, as well as coaching. And so you'll notice when I introduced Rick and Kashanda that they each are dedicated to specific programs. And one of the reasons for that is that it allows them to develop really deep subject matter expertise. And so they have a great awareness and understanding of what the market expects, and then are able to coach you around those things to ensure that you're successful. So next slide. So in the career management team, we have developed a specific program that is all cultivated around our understanding of the student's journey. And so there are 4 main buckets, the first being strategy, market research, product development, and operations. And you'll notice these are business terms. You're going to be exploring a lot of these in the curriculum itself, but these also directly relate to what you're going to need to work on and work through as you navigate your journey to find your career and compete successfully for jobs that you are interested in. And so we will work with you on all of these things. So we'll help you assess where you want to focus your attention. We will help you understand how to assess your fit with a particular culture. How do you do that research? How do you develop an understanding of different functions, different industries? What might be a great match for your skills and also your values? We help you cultivate something we call executive presence, which is your ability to communicate well, come across as a professional, and really demonstrate to a company that you are someone who provides value and they can trust you with the reputation of their brand and their company. Of course, there are operational things that you'll need to grasp, such as the ability to write great cover letters, have a wonderful resume, do interviews well, and of course, to be able to understand, assess, and negotiate job offers. So we work with you through the entire spectrum of these things. I will say we're unique in that we don't limit our students to any particular number of coaching appointments. We are here to work with you on all of these things to the extent to which you need. And we also offer lifelong career management. And what that means is that you have access to us for the entirety. So not just while you're in the program, but if you find yourself 2 or 3 years down the line wanting to compete for a promotion or wanting to shift or pivot your career, we're still available to you as a resource. So next slide. So through our program, we integrate through a number of different things. Of course, you're going to have your academic courses, and you might be thinking, well, how is that related to career? But you actually have exposure to a lot of great competencies, knowledge, and skills that you're building within those academic courses that you will need to be able to communicate about while you're having conversations with employers, as well as integrate those into documents such as your resume and cover letter. So we help you understand how to communicate that in your career communications. We've got a lot of digital resources which have really come in handy during the current landscape of not being on campus. You're able to access a great deal of resources online. Of course, there's a lot of interactive tools that allow you to do simulations and to practice. We do have campus events, but we also have access to a lot of other tools and things going on beyond that. We have an entire employer engagement team whose role is to consult with employers and stakeholders in the community to develop an understanding of what their needs are, what kind of talent they're looking for, and to make sure that they're aware of what our students have to offer. And of course, the campus events are things that you might be familiar with, such as job fairs, information sessions, tabling. I would anticipate that these may look a little bit different in the fall than they have in the past. But what I want you to know is that our team is incredibly flexible and adaptable, and we are working hard to make sure that we have a lot of different options to ensure that you have a great experience on campus or virtually, depending on what happens in the fall, to keep everyone safe. So know that we have an incredible team, lots of resources to share with you. So next slide, please. All right, so to recap, if you choose to do your graduate program with WP Carey and work with us, you're going to be earning that community of like-minded classmates, of course. You're also going to have personal growth and development. And third, you're going to have the opportunity to access a career in your chosen industry. So with this slide, I would love to give you a chance if you have any questions. If you want to type them into the chat box, I would be more than happy to address anything that you have that you might be wondering about.
Hi, April. It looks like we have a question here about some of the events that we hold during the year. We can address maybe some of the career events that we hold and what those look like.
Absolutely. So each program, so when I say program, I am indicating the specialized master's degree. So if you are coming in for MSGL, you're going to have a different program mapped out for you than if you're coming in for Mac and Tax. And the reason for that is we use our expertise of the market and the things that are happening to really inform what is made available, because we want to make sure that things are custom and that they make sense for the area and the goals that you have. And so I don't know how much I can say in terms of what there is across the board, but if you want kind of a general idea of categories of events, historically we've had several large-scale career fairs on campus where we invite companies either from a variety of industries, or we also have specialized career fairs where, let's say, everyone at that particular fair is interested in supply chain, or everyone at that particular fair is interested in accounting. And so we have these available, of course. We typically will also have firms who come to campus that are interested in sharing information about what they do and the talent that they're seeking. And typically they will do something we call an information session, where they do a presentation to students to share that information. And then it's typically followed by a Q&A, which is then followed by a networking opportunity. We really try to build in a lot of networking opportunities for our students, because while that builds community, it also allows you to make connections that are going to be very valuable in your ability to compete for specific opportunities. So those are employer-facing events that we have. We also have a lot of employers that will come for different presentations to interface with clubs and faculty, or even just a table in the dean's patio or common areas like that. From the career management event side, we have a lot of different workshops that we do and simulations that we do, really with the intent of building capability in our students. So of course, before you can go to a job fair and impress an employer, you need to learn how to do that. And you also need the opportunity to practice. And so we will have workshops and resources that will help you understand how to build those capabilities. And then we will also have simulated events where you're able to really kind of step into that and experience it in a very supportive community, where you're able to get feedback and you're able to tailor your approach. And so we offer a combination of that. We also have, as I mentioned, I think previously, a lot of the work that we do is one-on-one with students or in small groups, where you're able to meet with a coach and they're able to do one-on-one role play, as well as to give you specific feedback on how you might apply what you would learn in a workshop setting or, you know, in a group setting to you personally. And so everything that we do is very customized. I think what you'll find, you know, assuming some of our participants are currently undergrads, what you'll find when you move into a graduate setting is that the numbers are very different. And so a coach is going to be working with maybe 100 students versus maybe an undergrad coach is going to work with a couple thousand students. And so we're really able to zero in and have a very personal approach with our students. We get to know you by first name. We get to know, you know, what your goals are, what's important to you. We get to understand, you know, maybe what roadblocks you're seeing, what barriers you might be experiencing, and then help really address those with you one-on-one. It looks like there is another question here, local internship opportunities. So internship opportunities change every day. I would say every year there are new companies that are coming to WP Carey because of the reputation our school has and the great talent that they have been able to pull from us in years past. And so I had mentioned that we have an employer engagement team as part of the Career Management Center. And so one of the things that they do is that they work with employers to understand what their needs are from a talent perspective. And they consult with them to help them understand what might make sense for them in terms of accessing that talent. And internships are a very popular choice for building a pipeline because it's a great opportunity for the student to experience that type of work, to identify if that's what they really want to do, but then also to get exposure to that particular company, that industry, or that function. And so students love them. And I would say that employers love them as well, because it's really an opportunity for them to do a lengthy interview, right? And to see evidence of, you know, that student's ability to perform. So there are definitely a lot of internship opportunities for students across the board. And they change, you know, every day. I think there are in Handshake, which is the ASU-wide, you know, career management platform. There are upwards of 200 different positions posted every day. So there are a lot of opportunities to be sure. For MSBA specifically, I'm not sure if this is something you've already covered, but there is also a capstone project that is integrated into the curriculum. And that is another great opportunity to get applied project experience that you can both include on your resume, but also to help you build those skill sets and exposure to the different types of things that you would be doing and work with a company locally.
Thanks, April. So you have quite a long history, 16 years, I think, right, of career management experience, and you've been with ASU and WP Carey for quite a long time as well.
Almost 7 years, yeah.
Oh my goodness. We are so lucky to have your years of experience on our side and on our student side. So could you talk a little bit about, from all of these years of experience, what employers really feel about students who are coming out with a graduate degree? Are they students with a master's degree? Do they find that these students are better prepared and such?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, the feedback that we get from our employers is that they are continuously impressed with our graduate students. And that's one of the reasons why they keep coming back to recruit here. I think in terms of, what really would differentiate for an employer between an undergrad and a graduate student, it's really the level of critical thinking skills that you're able to cultivate, your ability to not just take information from a textbook and, share it verbatim, but to really analyze it, to understand it, to make connections between that material and what's going on in terms of different processes and business challenges, and things that need solutions, in your workplace. And so, those abilities and the soft skills that you're able to cultivate in a graduate program are extremely valuable. And you'll know that because if you even pull up, 2 or 3 job descriptions on anywhere, it could be Handshake, it could be Career Builder, it could be LinkedIn, Indeed, you will see that a large amount of the qualifications and requirements that they spell out when they're looking for someone and they're outlining, what kind of talented individual they're looking for. A lot of it is spent on the soft skills. And I think, undergraduate education is wonderful in terms of building knowledge and building technical expertise and helping you understand how the basics work and learning the fundamentals. But at the graduate level, you're really able to dig into those things in depth, understand how they work together, be able to use those pieces of knowledge to really, share with someone why those connect and work together, and make recommendations and troubleshoot and find solutions. These are the higher level skills that they're really hoping to find in people. And generally, you're going to find those either with someone who has a great deal of work experience, and they have created those through that experience and trial and error, or you're going to find those by hiring someone who's a graduate student who has, immersed themselves in a program where they've been able to use the case study method and they've been able to have robust discussions and they've done group projects where they're able to practice and build those skills and capabilities. And so I think those are always things that employers are going to be looking for. What other questions do we have, Kylie?
Thanks, April. It looks like we've had a couple questions about what the current job climate looks like. So maybe what it looks like maybe specifically here in Arizona, but also we've had some questions about what questions are you hearing from employment about employment in light of our recent challenges with COVID-19?
So I would say that all of our coaches are really well connected to our counterparts at other universities. We've done a lot of different benchmarking calls recently. I know I have 3 just this week. And so what we're hearing from our partners at other universities is that the climate is no different here at ASU or in Arizona than it is anywhere else. And that includes across the world. So I know I was on a call this morning where we had representatives from probably 30 different countries and universities all over. And really, what I think this question is getting at is how is COVID-19 and the coronavirus kind of impacting things? And I would say it's kind of happening globally, right? So, you're not going to see any differences in terms of coming to ASU or Arizona than you would if you went somewhere else. But to more directly answer that question, I think, time is going to tell. This is a very unique situation. We have not had something like this happen before. Of course, there's been other times where, the job market was impacted, but those times were very unlike what we're experiencing now. So it's very difficult to use those as a marker to predict what's going on. But what I can say is that I am continuing to have students tell me that they're receiving job offers. Just this week and last week, I had 5 different students share with me that they just received an offer. So I think that's very good news. I think, from the perspective of someone who's previously been in charge of talent management and recruiting, companies are always going to need talent. And so, The worst case scenario is that companies put their hiring on hold or they have a temporary freeze, but they are going to start hiring again at some point. I would say, if you were considering a program in hospitality, you might want to rethink that at this point, but business is a crucial area that is always going to be in demand and tends to be very stable. And so I would say, while definitely some areas have been hit hard in terms of, seeing less opportunities available, there are others that are actually really increased. So if you look at technology, if you look at healthcare, if you look at, logistics, a lot of the areas that our students go into, there is actually increased demand and more job opportunities, resulting from what's currently going on. And so I would say students who are able to pivot and really be strategic in looking at the market, understanding the market, and seeing what opportunities there are from it, are still every bit as successful and able to be successful as they would be otherwise. So, that strategy is really something that our students are working on very closely with our career coaches. But, personally, I'm not worried about it. And I think, there's a lot out there that indicates that we have the ability to bounce back from this very quickly once, the situation gets resolved in terms of everyone staying safe and healthy. But I would just echo that, we're always going to need talented individuals. And companies need people, to maintain their operations and to add value. Human resources are the most valuable that most companies have. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Thank you so much for your insight, April. It really has been very valuable. We are always appreciative of our teachers from our career unit joining us and helping us share all of the resources that we have to offer. I think that we have just a few minutes here before we are going to get started on our ambassador panel. So if you have any other questions for our career team, please go ahead and chat them in, and then we will get moving to our ambassador panel. We do have a few questions from our program overview that I wanted to address really quickly before we get into our ambassador Q&A section. One of the questions that I want to make sure that I address was, are there any alternative methods to connect with us besides email in light of everything that's going on with COVID-19? Questions about, working in the office or from home. So the great news is that WP Carey and ASU in general are extremely ahead of the curve with our technology practices. So not only can we communicate with you via email, but we are able to take phone calls from our desk. So they're routed to us directly. So feel free to give us a call. We're here. We also can set up appointments with you. We've had a lot of really fun interactions with Zoom appointments with our students. We enjoy being able to speak with you one-on-one and have your questions answered in real time. So at the end of our presentation, we will again have our contact information, email, and phone number. But yes, we are available to connect with you in a multitude of ways. We also had a question about the online supply chain masters program. So this is a program that is offered in kind of combination with MIT. It's a little bit unusual. So students first complete a set of courses and coursework through a platform offered by MIT and Ed+. Once they are able to complete those with a certain criteria, then they transfer those credits and that certification back to ASU, and it's kind of a micromaster. So it adds on, and then they complete other classes here at ASU. That program is completely offered online, And as mentioned, they start with MIT specifically. So we would be happy to get you connected with our partners to get you a little bit more information about that. Feel free to send us a message. I think that we provided the general contact information here in the chat. We'll make sure that we get our general email and contact information in there as well, so you have that.
Any other questions for me or the career management team? I've got Kashana and Rick here with me as well. So if you have any questions for them, I'm sure they would also be open to answering anything that you have. One thing that I did not mention that you might be wondering is that we do also have career classes that we offer. So many of them are electives that you can choose to add to your program plan. And these are opportunities for us to go in depth on a few different areas with you. So if you are the type of person that, you know, have had career classes in the past, maybe in undergrad, and you enjoyed those, that is something else that we do offer at the graduate level. And those typically are tailored to the mix of students in the class. So if you're with MSBA students, we try and use, you know, examples and dive into things that are around analytics versus if you're in finance. So just want to echo that we really are mindful of what's going to be specifically valuable to you. We don't use a one-size-fits-all approach by any means. I'm sure by now you are familiar with the phrase business is personal here at WP Carey, and we really do live and breathe that also in the career management team. So it sounds like maybe we don't have any other questions. What I would just like to end with then is thank you so much for your time and hearing from me and my team in terms of career management here at WP Carey. I would invite you, if you think of any questions that you might have that are career related, to share those with your recruiting counterpart, and they can always forward those on to my team or connect you with us if you'd like to have a conversation. We are more than happy to answer any questions that you have so that you are well informed and you know what to expect.
April and Rick and Kashana, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your insight and look forward to sending a couple students your way pretty soon.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, now that we have learned a little bit about what we offer through our career management employee engagement team, I would like to turn this opportunity over to hear from current students. So we really find that current students, our ambassadors, are a great resource, and they're able to provide information about their experiences in a day in a life. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and let our ambassadors introduce themselves. So let's go ahead and get started with our ambassadors, starting with Raul. I want to make sure he's available.
I sure am.
Thanks, Raul. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know what program you're in, and maybe give us a quick preview or a brief introduction to why you chose the WP Carey Mac DNA program.
Thank you, Carly. So I'm Raul. I'm actually an international student from Melbourne, Australia. So I'm actually doing the Mac DNA program, which is the Master of Accountancy focused on data and analytics. The most exciting part of the program is it takes accounting and then we apply the data and analytics and the CIS side of things, which is really exciting. I'm in my second last quarter at the moment, and it's been really busy with coursework and stuff, but it's been really exciting. Get to work with a lot of smart people that understand accounting really well and that are really fun to work with as well. That's a little bit about me.
Thanks, Raul. I think that Brian and Caroline are joining us a little bit later. They are coming from class. I'm not sure, Brian or Caroline, are you in yet?
Actually, I'm on. This is
Oh,
Brian.
wonderful. Hi, Brian.
Yep. Hi. Brian Lindell. I'm in the Masters of Taxation program. I picked this program, one, proximity. I live here in the Valley, but two, more importantly, because it just came with such high recommendations from companies that I was interviewing with, a lot of the big accounting firms, regional accounting firms. It's just a highly regarded program because of the content, the staff, because they have a lot of them are former partners at Big Four accounting firms, focusing in taxation. And we are finishing up. We're actually in our fourth quarter right now, so we've got about 10 days left, and we're done.
And Brian, you are actually an MBA alum as well from WP Carey, right?
That is correct. Yep. So this is, getting ready to get my second master's here. So that's another reason too. I did have some experience already with some of the staff at the graduate level, and was very impressed when I completed my MBA in 2015. And I've just kind of continued.
All right, I think we are going to go ahead. I think Caroline is joining us a little bit later. Yaru?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Yaru. Will you go ahead and introduce yourself and maybe share why you picked the program?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Yaru, and I chose the MSGO program because my undergraduate is the supply chain. So I decided to go deeper into this industry, and after research about the programs, the ranking, and some professional professors their experience. So I choose the WP Carey and choose the MSGO because our professors' professional experience in this industry. Yeah, and I pretty like Phoenix here a lot, like the climate here a lot. So I choose to come here. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Yaru. We like the climate here too.
Yeah.
Hi, Taylor. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Kylie. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking, Taylor. Would you mind go ahead and sharing a little bit about yourself and maybe what you are enjoying about your MSBA program?
Yes, of course. So I'm Taylor Coleman. I chose to do the MSBA program because I had just finished my undergraduate in computer science at ASU. I decided to choose WP Carey because I was already familiar with the area. I love Arizona, and I had heard such great things about the WP Carey school. I had seen how well they were ranked. And coming from an engineering background, I wasn't too familiar with business and any kind of, subjects relating to business. So I had assumed that the MSBA would provide me more of a technical skill set while also providing me with a business background that I needed to actually enter in the industry this semester or this next summer.
Thanks, Taylor. Jen, you are an ambassador for our MS in Finance program. Thank you for joining us today. Would you share a little bit about why you picked our finance program?
Sure. Just like Taylor and Yaru, I did my undergrad here as well. And I love ASU from day one, like I told a lot of people. And just really everything. Living here is good. Opportunities here is good, and climate here is good. ASU has a lot of resources and stuff that's very supportive to us. The reason I chose WP Carey is I've been here long enough. I've learned a lot of great things about WP Carey, and then as my application process goes, I met with the admission team and the support staff team, and I actually have a couple friends. They're in the program, and then I learned a lot of information from them. I really liked it, so that's why I picked it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Hassan from our MSBA program. Go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what you like about the program.
Hi, My name is Hassan. I come from Pakistan. I did my undergrad in economics and have more than 3 years of experience. I chose ASU because of its high ranking in MSBA. I really liked about MSBA is that it's fast paced and it trains you enough with all the technical skills to get back into the job market.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So we have an entire panel of current ambassadors here from several different programs. Feel free to go ahead and use that chat feature to type us any questions and we will address them. All right, it looks like we have a question here about time commitment while you're in the program. So I may go ahead and start with I'm just going to start back up at the top with Raul and work our way through everybody. Raul, could you talk a little bit about the time commitment for your program?
To be honest, the time commitment, it does feel like a full-time job because it's not just the class time, but the time we spend on group projects, studying for finals and other assignments. It sort of feels like you're committing about between 30 to 40 hours per week, including class and study. The one thing I'd recommend is probably prioritize between your job and a master's program is so much more than the undergrad program. And the best part about the program was our professors sort of let us know from day one what to expect and what the workload was going to be. So we weren't really surprised when we actually had the whole program, which was really good.
Thank you. So I know that the time commitment, based off the amount of time that you've been in classes can be varied. I'm curious if anyone in this ambassador group is working right now while in the program, if they could share maybe why they decided to work or to not work.
I can share that I decided not to work. I was working for RSM and they were very flexible. I was gonna do about 20 hours a week was my original plan coming into this program in August. And I got probably 2 weeks into it and realized that was just going to be really difficult. It's a full-time job, every bit of that. And so I decided to put that on hold and just focus on the education. And I'm glad I did that. I feel like I've just kind of been maximizing getting the learning out of it, and then plenty of time to work after I've graduated.
I can relate to Brian. I started off the first semester with an internship and I was planning on working, I think 20 hours a week. And I think for the first 2 months, I worked maybe 10 a week. And at that point, I was pretty overloaded with school as well. So I went ahead and I had quit that part-time job, but the company rehired me in January for a different position or a different internship. And I was able to maintain about 20 to 30 hours a week, just because our classes during Q3 were, I believe, only a couple hours a day. So it gave me a lot more freedom to work both before and after classes.
Thank you. It looks like we have a question here specifically for Yaru. Looks like we have some questions about if you are doing any sort of internship during your program or what kind of companies you're considering working for afterwards.
So considering like our program is in 9 months, it's pretty like intense. So we don't have like, I don't have like any of the internship during the program, but I'm applying for jobs and also like seeking for internships after our programs ends, because like as like some other the ambassadors say, like our pretty intense program, like the workload so it's pretty hard to like do an intern or maybe to work during the program time. But I think so, but I think better like focus on your education during the program and then to think more about like what you are going to do. And for my future career, I'm thinking about to work in some companies like not just like the transportation, but more like, you know, like the retailer or maybe like some large companies with a lot of different aspects of the supply chain, including both the transportation and like the procurement stuff together. Yeah.
Thank you. We have a question here that I think is probably good for everyone in the group, so I'll let you all maybe address this one. What is something that you know now that you wish you knew when you started the program?
I'll go ahead and start. One thing I wish I had known was how well the professors are at actually really wanting to help you. During my undergraduate, it felt like there were so many students that were going to the professors. Everyone was handed off to the TAs. But I really quickly learned from the professors in the master's program, they all really want to help you. And you should really take advantage of their office hours because they will do nothing but be extra patient and really try to make sure you're understanding of any topic.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think that's a great point. Is that you know, as you got projects that are due, you know, you can send them what work you have so far and get, you know, confidence that you're, you know, you're on the right track. You know, especially when you're doing a lot of things, there's a lot of ambiguity with it, and especially related, you know, to tax, a lot of research. Yeah, just very, very vested interest in making sure that you succeed. And especially in our program too, the cohort is really small. There's only 30 students, 31 students. So the professors really, you really get a lot of good, close personal attention if that's what you want.
I would like to add what Taylor has said. Professors are really, really helpful. And one thing I would like to say that before coming here, I didn't know a lot about the capstone project. I think the best thing about our MSBA program is the capstone project. It gives you actually a real world experience working with a client with real data. And with my company, I was actually overwhelmed to see the data, the huge amount of data, because I never had any experience working on, working with such computer languages like Python or SQL or R, and working on such huge amount of data and doing some business analytics and coming up with recommendations how to improve the business. So that was one thing I didn't know, and I really enjoyed doing my capstone project.
Adding on to what the others have said, the one thing I really appreciate is the networking opportunities, because a lot of your classmates and professors really help you like with your job search and recruiting as well. And as soon as you join a master's program, the fall recruiting is sort of comes up to you, and it goes quite quick. So being ready for that and taking full advantage of that through April's team and the careers team and your professors and classmates be really good as well.
I would like to say it's the career services because you have several events of career fairs throughout your program time. A couple of them, I believe, back in October. By the time I didn't use the career services wisely, so I was kind of here and there. I don't want to my first career fair. I would say definitely reach out to the career services. They're very supportive and helpful, and then they're very kind people just there to help you. Their commitment to help you is very good. So definitely get on the career services as soon as you started your program as well.
Thanks all for those great responses. This is another question that may be good for everybody. I know that in undergrad, sometimes we hear the word group work and we all groan and really kind of stomp our feet, but I try to assure students that graduate programs doing group work at the graduate level is a completely different experience. It's actually fun and enjoyable. So I'm wondering if you all can talk about what the group work experience looks like from your end.
I think the group work experience was 10,000 times better in your master's program. I've become really close friends with all of the groups that I have worked with, and everyone seems to be a lot more motivated, and everyone's really trying to take advantage of the quick 9-month program. So I had never encountered any issues where people were not pulling their weight. It really was a lot better of an experience working with groups in the program.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. Yeah, definitely big difference when you work within groups at the graduate level. To Taylor's mention, you just get people that are much more motivated to be here, to learn, to want to contribute, and what's fun about the projects is, to her mention also, just you get to know your classmates a lot better. And the whole idea of just kind of, as you're learning, you're learning together, you're bouncing ideas as you're doing your research and bringing your pieces to, your contribution to the project. They're bouncing their ideas off of you. It's just really creates a nice learning environment.
Yeah, and I think that it's also going to be true that you are going to work with your future, like the other employees together, and so it's like a mock of your future's career, like at work, like your future's work.
I think the entire program is highly focused on team-based learning. From the very first day on the orientation, you get to know about your team members. And all around the year, we work in a team of 4, and it actually really helps you to understand different cultures, understand different individuals who come from different backgrounds, and it grooms you professionally, and definitely it will help you when you'll get into the real job market.
Adding on to what the others have said, it's a lot better. And also the professors also always inform us that if there's anyone not doing their part of the work or anything like that, just let us know. And they're always on the lookout for if anyone's not pulling their weight. So that's not the case, but most of the class and classmates are really good and switched on and motivated to learn.
I would agree with everybody as well. I feel everyone's very motivated. Everybody just do actual work by themselves. No one need to ask anyone, and all we need to do is just be sure we are there for each other. And when you see some ways that can make the process more efficiently, just let them know. Everybody's very down to earth to accept the advices. So it was a very fun program as well for me.
I agree with everything that everyone else has said. I think Taylor said something about everyone being motivated to be here, which I completely agree with. And there's just a higher caliber person in this program. You're surrounded by intelligent people, and it's a lot of fun.
Hi, Caroline. Thanks for joining us. We wanted to, previously we had asked some questions about students juggling time with the program and working, and I do know that you had worked during the program. Do you want to share a little bit about your experience?
Absolutely. Sorry for being late. Class ran a little bit over.
That is a completely acceptable excuse, Caroline.
Yeah, so in the first quarter in the MTACs, we were taking 2 classes, and I was working about 20 to 30 hours a week. So I had classes Tuesdays, Thursdays, and I worked Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes Saturdays. And that was right during busy season for tax, the extension due date. So it was pretty crazy, but it was definitely doable. You really have to compartmentalize and really focus, but it was honestly, I think, very good experience for me. I learned a lot about myself. And then in the second quarter, when I had 3 classes, I was working about 10 hours a week. It was definitely a challenge, but yeah.
But you survived. You're still here.
I survived, and you know what? I have a little more money in my pocket, so I'm happy about that.
Can't complain there.
No.
One of the other questions we have gotten is about the difference between what you experience in your undergraduate program versus a graduate program, especially, if maybe you majored in something in your undergrad and then you're kind of studying it the same in your graduate program. Could you all address the differences you've experienced of what it feels like for your undergraduate program versus your graduate program?
For me personally, I feel like I was even more motivated in my graduate program because nearly every class I took was something that I was really interested in. Like I've worked in tax for 4 years, so I'm familiar with everything. In undergrad, sometimes you're getting classes that aren't really related to what you're trying to do in your career. And that can be not as fun or harder to focus on, but I found myself very motivated and really enjoying every one of my classes. And I learned so much better when I'm really passionate about everything, so.
I think all of the support staff is also incredibly different. Even everyone that works at WP Carey, not even just the professors, everyone really seems to put in an effort to get to know you. So you're really held accountable for all of your actions and your studies. And even just having the career coach really adds a lot of assistance, especially when you're stressed out already doing the program and then you have to find a job. So the support system is a lot better in the graduate program than undergraduate, I think.
I can add to that, especially for me because I come from a different country, and obviously in undergrad you have 130 credit hours in comparison to graduate program where you have 30 credit hours, and the time duration is also very less, and it's a very fast-paced course. So in graduate programs, you know that the MSBA program is a hybrid of 2 disciplines, supply chain management and computer information systems. So you are focused on these 2 disciplines from the very first day. But obviously in undergrad program, you can take a lot of electives, experiment things, take easy light courses in which you really don't want to study or focus on. But in graduate program, it's completely a different story. You come with a very different level of motivation and high expectations from the courses because you know that it's serious business and you want to land a good job and gain as much skills as you can.
It's nice too, the quarter structure of the graduate program. So not only do you get classes that you're interested in that are really relevant to what you're going to be doing, but then it's just how concentrated those are, where you're going to have 2 or max 3 classes in a quarter, and it's very concentrated over a 7.5 week period. To where you really immerse yourself in that, and then you move on, and you got 2 or 3 new ones. So I like that fact it's very concentrated.
Thank you. All right, looks like I am up to date on the questions as of now. So let's go ahead and see if anyone else has any other questions for our ambassadors, any questions about their student experience or anything like that. We will go from there. All right, it looks like we have a question to the group again. So for those of you who may be considered other graduate programs besides WP Carey, we won't hold it against you, but what we would like to know is maybe what was one of the deciding factors that led you to choose WP Carey and ASU over the other program? Or if you didn't choose another program, why were you so solid in your decision of WP Carey?
I'll take that one. I was contemplating between the traditional Mac program and the DNA program, the data and analytics one. And a lot of the other colleges already had the traditional Mac, but WP Carey was one of 2 or 3 colleges around America that offered the DNA pathway. And with accounting as well, a lot of the employers are looking for the data analytics, and that sort of swayed me towards picking DNA over the traditional Mac program.
I can comment on that too, because I'm kind of in a unique situation that, you know, in our profession, to get to sit for the CPA, you know, you have to have a certain number of credit hours, you know, and they have to be very specific to accounting and higher level and all that. Well, with my MBA, I actually almost qualified without just with the undergrad accounting classes I had taken. So I really didn't need to take a full program to get the hours to take the test. But I decided to go through with this program anyway because, like I mentioned earlier, just all of the praises I had heard from people that had been through it, that were in the industry, with my employer, partners within the industry, who've all just touted the benefits of the program and how valuable it would be as a foundation for me. So not only does it, it obviously gives me the hours that I needed to sit for the CPA, but it gives me just a great foundation, in tax, and it certainly has delivered all that. So that was my situation.
For me personally, I went to undergrad here, so I was familiar with the professors and the accounting department. ASU has a really great reputation in accounting. I believe they're top 13, at least they were in 2019. It's a tier 1 research program, so there's a lot of opportunities there, especially if you're interested in going on further with your education, like into a PhD program or something. The location's amazing. Sorry about that. The weather, the cost was good, and most of all, the job opportunities are endless in Phoenix. So just a lot of positives.
For me, the deciding factor was definitely its high ranking in MSBA. So that was the deciding factor for me. But on the other hand, I also got admission in one of the universities in the East Coast, but it was in the supply chain management. So my personal preference was to do masters in business analytics. So business analytics is a hybrid of, as I said, supply chain management and computer information systems. So I was getting obviously an overview of 2 different disciplines rather than focusing on one single discipline. So that was one of my motivation to choose MSBA, and especially ASU because of its high ranking in MSBA.
Awesome. Thank you all. So we are going to wrap with kind of a fun question here at the end. So if we could just kind of start up again with Raul and work our way down. If you all could address maybe either your favorite thing about your time here in graduate school, or what is the thing you will miss the most about your time once you're done?
Probably all my classmates. So our cohort has about 55 people, and I've been being an international student, I've been really close with all of them, and definitely I'm going to miss all of them. And the fact that I'm actually relocating to San Francisco to work after graduation, so I'm going to miss all the ASU grads for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely the cohort. That's the most valuable part of this program. That just great people, motivated people, smart people. You know, it makes you better being around them. And so I would say that that's the part that that I'll miss the most. But fortunately, a lot of them are staying local, and we've already been talking about being able to connect on a fairly regular basis, since a lot of us will be working pretty closely with some of the various accounting firms.
It's hard not to echo those two. Networking, opportunities, and just the people are so great. I also am really gonna miss the structure and the professors. Yeah, it's just been a really positive experience.
We may be experiencing a little bit of technical difficulty with Yaru. Taylor, are you able to hear us? Okay, I'll let you go ahead, go.
Sorry, I just went out a few minutes before. What's the question?
Sorry, Yaru. So we are having everyone share either their favorite experience about graduate school or what they will miss most.
Oh yeah. So what's the? I think for the MSGL program, we have a very interesting activity last fall break. We went to the AOA, the Long Beach port. It was pretty fun that you went we went to like some of the terminals there, like some the transportation, or maybe like like the port, the facilities there, to see how and what our what we learned from class were practiced in the real life, and you got to know that how those companies practiced and how they did like in the real business. Yes, so it's pretty interesting. And what I'm going to miss mostly about our program is, I think, like everyone in our class is very friendly, and we work together, we motivate each other together to go over these 9 months together. So I will miss them mostly. Yeah.
I can agree with what everyone said. I'm going to miss my classmates a lot. I think that's what I'm going to miss the most. We were always trying to host fun events. So we all went to the Grand Canyon together. Hassad and I rode front seat for the 6-hour drive that day. We did a lot of different potlucks together as a cohort. So I think I'm definitely going to miss my classmates the most.
I agree with everyone as well. On top of that, I think it's really the experience of this 9 months. I came in as an economics student, knowing very little about finance, and start day one. I caught in a shock. I didn't really know much. Really, just the time I have to put in the hardest work you could, and don't be afraid to ask whenever you have things that you are not sure on. Just go ahead, ask your professor, ask your classmates, or even about like other things, go ask their career services, or reach out to your coordinator, or just really every single one that works in WB Carey's make me feel this is home. They're just really there for you whenever you need them. If you go ahead to ask and reach out, they'll be there for you. So it's really just my experience of the whole program on like a whole picture.
I think I will agree with all of you, and especially with Taylor as well, because we were in the same class. We used to sit together, and I'll definitely miss my friends from my cohort. And actually, we were a big group. Like, we were 200 students in MSBA program, and the good thing was that you get to meet and someone new from the cohort every other day. So networking with people and participating in different events was the best thing in this program, and I'll definitely miss that.
Thank you all. I feel like you just did an excellent job of summing everything up and selling our program in a much better way than sometimes we can. So thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate it. And we will connect with you all soon. So for everyone else, I want to quickly remind you of a couple upcoming events. I know I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the program. We've got 2 upcoming events that I'd like to let you know about. The first is our graduate program's office hours. So if you are a current WP Carey undergraduate student, you may have attended our office hours 2 weeks ago. So we are hosting some virtual office hours where you can just pop in, ask some questions about any of the master's programs, and we will be able to answer. Think of it kind of like a pop-in advising that you might experience. And we are also hosting an event on May 13th. It is the WP Carey program's virtual information session. So this will be a program that includes this will be a webinar that includes all of our programs in a little bit deeper dive and an overview. Feel free to follow the link there to go ahead and register. And finally, I wanted to make sure that we got all of our contact information listed up here. So Amy, Shalise, and Jordan for the programs that we mentioned today. If you have questions about any of those specific programs, feel free to reach out to us. And then we will make sure that we get the general WP Carey inbox address in our chat as well, in case you have some questions about any of our other programs or not really sure who to ask. We're going to stay on the line for just a few more moments to see if anyone else has questions. But again, thank you so much for joining us today. We've really appreciated your time and sharing a little bit more about our master's programs with you. We really look forward to hearing from you soon and helping you on this next step. All right, thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next time.